Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to another lesson of Akhlaq. It is 7:30 a.m. in Sydney, Australia. I'm glad that you all are here. We start the lesson, inshallah, with Dua al-Faraj. For the hasty appearance of Imam Sahib al-Asri wal-Zaman, Ajal Allah Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا يا رب الحسين بحق الحسين اشف صدر الحسين وظهور الحجة. Happy that you are once again joining this lesson. I try to make it as interesting as possible. It is an interesting lesson. The topic itself, akhlaq, is very important, especially in this time and age. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We can see the importance of akhlaq. Now we have an opportunity that we are in lockdown, some of us, in quarantine, self-isolation, that we can reflect of what's happening in our daily lives. We can see our weaknesses, our strong points, and we can work on the weaknesses, and we can become better people. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Allah has blessed us with many things. Some of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that we do have great leaders. We have great role models, and these role models, these leaders, can give us a great example, and that example is to learn from them, derive lessons from them. Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam are a great example. Whatever they did, whatever their actions were, it was unbelievable, and you are mesmerized by their actions when it came to everyone. Last lesson we had, it was about some of what they did with the enemies, what they did, of course, with the friends. And inshallah today we will elaborate more on this topic. We give it another 2 minutes before we start the lesson itself. By that time, I ask every and each one of you to sit down between yourself. Have a pen and a paper and write down what is your weakness, what is your strong points, and what you can do to work on them, become better people. Of course, no one is infallible except for Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam. So we have a lot to learn from them, to become an exemplary, inshallah, Shia of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam. We are followers of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam, and it takes time to become loyal followers. We're talking about Shia like Malik al-Ashtar. We're talking about followers of Ahl al-Bayt like John Mawla Abi Dhar, Habib al-Mudahir. We're talking about persons like Muslim ibn Aqil. They had dedicated their lives to Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam. They are the way. إنهم الوسيلة. And if you follow them, you succeed. If you don't, you are just walking around in circles and that will be unfortunate. That in the end, you might think, you know what? I spent years and years following fake leaders, fake role models, and that got me to nowhere. But Ahlul Bayt are the people, they are the infallibles, they are the leaders, the role models that the world needs. If you look at what's happening in this time and age, unfortunately, it's a time of pandemic, it is time of darkness, it is uncertain time. We don't know when we're coming out of this. Some experts say this might go until end of the year. Some say maybe until next year, and it's having a lot of impact on us. It is unfortunately impacting our economy. Unfortunately, in some households, it's increasing domestic violence. In Australia, for example, the government announced a bigger budget for domestic violence for some of the families that they might be going through a domestic violence, because now, they are at home more than usual, so they might face some of the harsh times, aggressive behavior of some of the household members. So the Australian government announced that, what, we are announcing a bigger budget. And after they put into measures, the rules and the regulations of you staying at home and closing many of the things, they had the problem of the phone calls, the domestic violence hotline phone calls increased more than 20%, and that is really, really unfortunate. But it shows you, even though we live in a modern age, and we believe that this is the peak of technology, we are living a comfortable life, but we still have that emotions that might get us in trouble. And this is where we get to these lessons that we can reflect, we can see what is a proper way to behave. Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam teach us that behavior, how to learn from that. Lessons of Ahlul Bayt, you become a better person. On that note, we start the lesson. We continue of what we started a day ago about anger management. And inshallah, today we conclude with anger management and so on and so forth. Before I start the lesson, inshallah, these lessons, the akhlaq lessons, will be on Tuesday. It will be on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Same time, 7:30, inshallah. So 3 days a week. I was told that you have, mashallah, a long list of lessons you are attending, and that is very good. So I don't want to take much of your time, but this is the timing, inshallah, for the time being. We're going to have 3 times a week, every Tuesday, every Thursday, and every Saturday, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. So today's lesson is the continuance of what we did 2 days ago about anger management. We spoke about anger management, about the book that we, inshallah, going to go through. And that book is أخلاق والآداب الإسلامية. أخلاق والآداب الإسلامية is a lesson that inshallah we will concentrate on. So the idea of these lessons is to learn from our mistakes, see what we can improve. And one of the things that we unfortunately have a problem with is the anger management. Anger is something that unfortunately we have the issue with. I still have a problem sharing the screen. Okay. Oh yeah, it's working now. So this is a book I was speaking about the other day. Tell me, brothers and sisters, if you can see the book. It's a PDF file of Akhlaq wal Adab al Islamiyya. Inshallah, you all see the book. It is a very good book about akhlaq, and that is manners, ethics, and adab, etiquettes of Islam. You can see we spoke about the ghadab, the meaning of ghadab, meaning of anger, and min athar al-ghadab, the impacts that he has and the results of it and how it shows on a person's face. I hope you all have that screen. Inshallah, you all have it. And من آثاره على اللسان. And inshallah, I'll go through each one of them with translation. ومن آثاره على الأعضاء ومن آثاره على القلب. And of course, علاج الغضب. Just a recap very quickly of what ghadab is. Ghadab is anger. Anger, rage, madness, you can call it whatever you want. It's that thing. You lose control of yourself. And what happens is that you become a different person. And you can see from the picture they have on the PDF file and on the book itself, that a person becomes a beast. That's why it is. And min athar al-ghadab is that تغيير اللون, a person's face becomes red. A person, unfortunately, what happens with them is that, I hope you all have. Yeah. Yeah, the lessons inshallah are going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I will go back to inshallah to the Q&As in the end of the class, if you don't mind. I can see there is a lot of questions coming on. So the book is called Akhlaq wal Adab al Islamiyya, and here we're talking about تغيير اللون. We're talking about anger, that a person face becomes red. شدة الرجفة في الأطراف, he starts to shake. خروج الأفعال عن الترتيب والنظام. اضطراب الحركة والكلام. احمرار العين وخروج الزبادي من الفم. This is basically what says how a person becomes. And inshallah on the other file I'll show you more of this. Now we're talking about علاج الغضب. علاج الغضب is an issue that we all have. Or how can a person treat this? How can a person overcome it? So here we're talking about anger in a sense that this is a disease. It's something that overcomes a person. If a person can't treat it, he will get into an issue of that he is going to always be angry. Now, if you look at the list of human emotions, some studies say we have 27 different emotions, and you can see here we have anger, we have grumpy, we have frustrated, we have sad, disappointed. We have many emotions a human being expresses. A renowned psychologist, I don't know if you have the PDF file in front of you. Please let me know if you have that PowerPoint in front of you. It's a bit... Okay. Brothers and sisters, if you can just write down for me if you have the PowerPoint in front of you, not the PDF file, but the PowerPoint. Okay. Do you have the PowerPoint? Okay. Thank you very much. So, a renowned psychologist and a emotion researcher by the name of Robert Plutchik, he suggested that there are 8 basic emotions a human being has, and they are anger, fear, sadness, disgust, surprise, anticipation, trust, and joy. Those are some of the emotions a person have, and what he suggests is that we, as human beings, we have these emotions, and one of them is anger. And anger, it's also known as wrath or rage. It is an intense emotional state involving a strong, uncomfortable, and hostile response to a perceived provocation, hurt, or threat. This is what anger is. That it's rage, it's wrath. A person becomes in a state of emotions that he responds very harshly, very aggressively. And if you look, it says that it's a very uncomfortable and hostile response. It's not something that you want to go through every day. And you find in a hadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati wassalam, the hadith of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi afdalus salati wassalam says in the hadith, al-ghadab nar muqida. Anger is a burning fire. I don't know if you've been to camping. When you go to camping, the highlight of camping is the campfire. And many of the youth, when they go to camping, they start to collect wood from the beginning of the day, from sunrise, some of them, because they want to build a big fire. When they lit up the fire, and this is an example, they throw on fire wood, and the fire becomes bigger and bigger. Just imagine that campfire being your anger. And this is what Amir al-Mu'mineen is saying. Anger is a burning fire. It's a burning fire. Man kadhamahu atfa'aha. Whoever suppresses the anger turns off the fire. Whoever suppresses the anger, what happens is he turns off the fire. And that's why you see Imam al-Kadhim, alayhi afdalus salati wassalam, our 7th Imam, Imam al-Kadhim was known as Kadhim al-Ghayth, the one who suppressed his anger. So, وَمَنْ أَطْلَقَهُ كَانَ أَوَّلَ مُحْتَرِقْ بِهَا. And who lets the fire loose, he will be the first victim of the fire. So the one who let it loose, he will be the first victim of the fire. And that is what makes anger very, very lethal. And who lets the fire loose, he will be the first victim of the fire. Now, if you have a fire, God forbid, in your house, and the fire, spreads throughout the house, if you don't turn it off from the moment it started, the fire spreads around from room to the kitchen, to the bathroom, to the living room, and burns down the whole house. So what Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib is saying here is a beautiful narration. And this exactly outlines of what anger is. Al-ghadab, narun muqada. Anger is a burning fire. That's why ghadab is. That's what anger is. It's a burning fire, like the campfire. Man kadamahu atfa'ah. As soon as the fire starts to burn, and you turn it off with the fire extinguisher, for example, or with water, you turn it off, whoever suppresses that anger turns off the fire. وَمَنْ أَطْلَقَهُ كَانَ أَوَّلَ مُحْتَرِقٍ بِهَا. And whoever lets the fire loose, he will be the first victim of the fire. He's the first victim himself. And then it spreads out to his family, to his friends. And this is what sadly, the reality of what anger is. Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam have many traditions, many ahadith in this regard. That one of the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam about anger is that al-ghadab yufsidu al-iman kama yufsidu al-khal al-asal. Ghadab, anger, what it does, it destroys iman, faith, like vinegar destroys honey. How could that be? Because you are not yourself anymore. You say many things that if you calm, you don't say it. What you say now in a state of anger is that many things that don't make sense or they are not right. And you know that, this is not right. When you come to your senses, when you are calm, when you can calculate right from wrong, you can see the difference right from wrong. But in the status of anger, what happens is you lose your faith. Al-ghadab miftah kulli shar. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, alayhi afdalu salati wa salam, says that anger is key to all evil. Anger is key to all evil. So you start in a status of anger, and like dominoes, if you've seen dominoes, you line them up one next to the other. When the first one falls, the other one falls right next to it. And then you have a bunch of dominoes falling. So this is what ghadab is. It's miftah, it's a key to all evil, to all evil. So when you start in a status of anger, the first domino falls, the second one falls, the third one, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. And then when everything has ended, it's finished, you can see the whole mess. You can see the whole mess and the aftermath of what has happened with you. That you were in a status of furious behavior, and that led for you to become hostile. You became for you to become aggressive. So this is another hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Al-ghadab miftah kulli shar. There was a question by one of the, I believe, one of the brothers on Tuesday, that they asked that, Sayyidina, can there be a positive ghadab, a positive anger? Do we have anything like that? Do we have positive anger? Yes, we do. See, brothers and sisters, it's emotion. We have it. It's automatically there. So you cannot stop something that it's already there. It's there, it's built in. We become angry, even though we are, we don't even know how to talk when we are children, but we have that. We become angry. We go into tantrums. We jump up and down. We scream. So this happens. We have the negative side of ghadab that we've been speaking about that, and we have the positive side of ghadab. Can there be a positive ghadab? Yes. So you can see a list of what we have, a positive side of ghadab. We have anger in the face of injustice. A person becomes angry in the face of injustice. They see something that is not right, it's not adalah, it's injustice. A person becomes angry, and that is right. This is the positive side of it. That you don't show that you agree to what's happening. Ahlul Bayt alayhim used to become angry when he was in the face of injustice or face of oppression. In the face of the oppressor, Ahlul Bayt alayhim in the face of a tyrant, they used to become angry. And that shows that they are not happy of what's happening. They don't agree to it. So they show their, their anger. that we don't agree with what's happening now. And that is the positive side of anger. Another one is that anger in the face of Allah, the Almighty enemies, is good in the face of Allah Almighty enemies. For example, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with his uncle Abu Lahab. Abu Lahab, even though he was the uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was a kafir and infidel, and he was not on the right side. And we have a surah in the Quran al-Kareem that says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, does he smile in the face of Abu Lahab? Is he happy with what Abu Lahab is doing or what his wife is doing? Definitely not. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam showed his anger and showed his disgust, his discomfort with his uncle Abu Lahab, even though that was his uncle. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam here draws a line. Even though you are my family, you are related to me, and I'm related to you. We are from the same tribe, from the same family. It doesn't make any difference. You are enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're an enemy of Allah. Therefore, I am your enemy. So here, anger, discomfort, you show your anger towards someone who is an enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the right positive side of anger. Anger to defend the religion. If someone sits down and mocks your religion, he makes fun of Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati wassalam. He makes fun of Quran al-Kareem, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have the right here to show your anger. So you can see we have a list of what is a positive side of anger. And if you look at this list of positive anger, is that they are not personal in a sense that this is affecting me. No, it's affecting the whole religion, the whole community, the whole society. Injustice, not just for me, but it's this tyrant is unjust with me, he will go to another person. That's why when you see a tyrant and a person who is oppressing others, he is in a state of injustice. He's in a state of oppressing one or other people, individuals in the community. You show your anger here that, look, you are being watched by us. And if you don't stop, we will stop you. So anger here is positive. This is the right side of anger. This is the one that we want to have. This is the one that we have to express. So this is a good side of it. When we talk about the negative side, we're talking about anger with your family members. We were talking about anger with your friends. This is the anger that we have, that this anger has a very bad impact on your lifestyle, on the way you treat other people. They're not oppressors. They're not, tyrants. You are home. The dishes were not washed right, and here you go in a status of, rage. Why the dishes were not right, washed right? Or your son, he wants something from you, and he nags, and then you start to scream at him, and you go in a state of madness. There you have done what? You have done injustice. This is not right. Here you have to suppress the anger because the house wasn't cleaned right, or your friend tried, he said something that wasn't right. Here you have to suppress your anger. You have to calm down. So we have the positive side, and of course we have the negative side. So why do we get angry? For everyone is different, but this is what we have that is most common. So we have different reasons. Sometimes we have someone who provokes us, and that person knows. He knows which buttons to push to make us angry. I know the Sayyid becomes angry if I speak about someone or something, or, if I press that button, I'll make him angry. So he knows that. And you have to learn from people. You have to scan them, okay? This person, he knows that I get angry. He provokes me in such and such places. So I have to keep my cool, become, calm in this status. So if we are unfairly treated, and I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about personal, sometimes something happened, it's out of hands. Or brothers and sisters, we have a hadith that says, "احمل أخيك على 70 محمل." Sometimes something happens that the other person, he doesn't mean it. He doesn't mean it. She doesn't mean it. But we take it so personal, we become furious that the person, if we will speak with them, we say two or three things to them, they say, "Brother, I swear to God, I didn't mean that. You know, this is not what I intended for you to think of me. This is wasn't it." So we feel that we've been treated unfairly. And you can tell me in your comments or in your questions if this is right, that we take it so personal. If our goals, another one, the third one, if our goals have been blocked or delayed, I want to do something, I have a goal. I wake up in the morning and I say to myself, well, today it's going to be the day that I do this. And, something happens during the day. And what happens here is I go into a situation that it's not controlled by me, and that stops me achieving my goal or delays me achieving my goal. So what happens here, because of that, because I haven't reached my goal or I was delayed reaching my goal, I become angry, or powerless. This is another one. Number 4 is powerless. A person who is powerless becomes angry. Ego, or some of the friends of mine used to say, easing God out. Ego, a person in status of ego, he's always angry, he wants to make his status, he has that personality that, I want to show you who I am. So he has that, characteristics of becoming what? Angry. And he thinks if he becomes angry, if he shows his anger, he's making a statement there. Unpleasant situation. The AC was turned off. It's hot. I become angry. And these are some of the scenarios, unfortunately, and they exist. This is not something, out of the box. This happens, unpleasant situation. Because of that unpleasant situation, I become angry. We have been insulted. Something was said to me and I take it personal. And here I express my feeling with becoming angry. Or we are invested in something. We have interest in something. And what happens is, because of what I have invested in, it might be many things. It might be time, it might be place, it might be any of this list, that because I'm invested in such and such, and if that is being harmed or I was treated badly, here I become angry. So those are some of them. Of course, you can add to the list of these. In-laws, for example, unfortunately, shaitan plays a big role here. And don't forget, he has a big role. Whenever there is a gathering, inshallah, we go back to normal as soon as this pandemic is over. And inshallah, Allah heals whoever is sick from this and brings back us to our families and our gatherings and our Husayniyat and our masajid in our community. If you look at it and you tell me if this is right or wrong, whenever we gather, there is always a person who wants to provoke us. And we know that person. It might be an in-law, it might be a friend, it might be family, or it might be a person in the community. That's why you see many of the centers after the lecture is done, when they sit down to have the meal or have some tea or some refreshments, there's always a person who's sitting on the sofa who is saying something that is not pleasant, and he provokes me and you, and he provokes the others, and he makes others angry. So here, it happens, brothers and sisters, at a blink of the eye. So you can't read what's happening from the morning. This is what will happen during the day. No, it will happen to you and me, to everyone, in a blink of eye, that something provokes us. In some in-laws say something, I take to them some, sweet, and they tell me, this wasn't cooked right. And I become angry. I spend hours and hours preparing this. How dare you have the audacity to say something like that to me? I take it so personal. If I take it personal, I'm going to have a problem every single day. This is the bottom line of it. If I don't take it personal, oh, you okay? Inshallah, next time we'll get better. One or two or three times when you do that with the other person, you make a statement. If the other person, he or she, they know which button to push, they keep pushing it. They're not going to stop. Here you can say to them in a very nice, calm manner, brother, sister, this is not right. And the person who you're talking to, everyone has a different story or has a different way of dealing with people. Now, a lifetime of anger. Some people, unfortunately, sadly, they have made this their lifestyle. They're always angry. And we have in the community, in the family member, a person who's always like that. They made it, their lifestyle. He's an angry person. No, don't worry about him. He's always angry. Why? Well, because of oil prices. He's angry because of the traffic, because of economy, because of marriage issues. In his house, he has a lot of problems like no one else has. Everyone has problems, brothers and sisters, and we all know that. No one comes out in this life who has a full, comfortable life. And there is a hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Jibreel, what makes you smile? He said, Ya Rasulullah, one thing makes me smile. When I see Bani Adam, the human beings, they wake up from the morning till night, they run around looking for something they will never get. He said to him, what is that, Ya Jibreel? He said to him, Ya Rasulullah, comfort. They will never achieve it. This is not for this life. And I smile at them, like millions before you, billions before you, they tried to achieve comfort and they never did. So this provokes them. Because of oil prices, oh, look at the petrol price. And his whole day is out of the window because of what's happening out there. Or because of the traffic, or because of the economy, or because of the marriage issues. And this is what is happening with the married people, that one says one thing and the other says another thing. And inshallah, one day we'll speak about marriage life and how to keep our marriage life, inshallah, more happy and more pleasant. But you have that because of one thing a person did or one thing the other person did, he ruins his whole day, a whole week, a whole month because of that. There are some people like that. They have, the idea of becoming angry at every point, at everything. So they are angry by nature. And you hear that in the community, they say, he's an angry person. Is that the right way to address it? He can work on his anger. Everyone can work on their anger. We're not infallibles. We're not flawless. Ahlul Bayt are infallibles. But we have Ahlul Bayt to take examples from them, to learn from them, to become better people. So here, a person who is angry by nature, it doesn't work out. It doesn't. One must work on his anger. They have chosen that lifestyle, and they are the first victims. They themselves are the first victims of that they have that idea of becoming angry on every single thing. They see the negative side of it. They don't see the positive side of it. They are angry at all times. A person can come into anywhere and see the negative side. If he doesn't look at the positive side, he's going to be always angry. That's why you have to see the positive side. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Now, many people are, in lockdown. You can see the negative side of it. Well, I can't go to any restaurants anymore. I can't go to the park. I can't go, have a normal life. In some countries, you're not even allowed to go visit your friends. For example, in Australia, it says that more than 2 is a crowd. And if they see a group of 3 or 4 walking around in the streets, they fine them more than $1,000. So you see the negative side of that. Here you can see the positive side. Now I can sit down, I can have more free time, and I can work on myself, learn a new language, catch up on some of the lessons I have on Hawza, or read some Quran, or learn to read some Quran. So you see the positive side, or you can see the negative side of it. This is all life, brothers and sisters. And I ask every one of you to look at your day, tomorrow or today, and see the positive side of life. When you see the positive side of life all the time, you always have a smile on your face. You're always pleasant. Anger is an emotion that we have. It comes out, of course. But becoming angry all the time, living a life of madness, living a life of rage, of wrath all the time, it's not comfortable for you or your family. And especially for yourself, because in the end of the day, you sit down and you say, oh my God, all day I was angry. And did I achieve any of this? Did I achieve any of good of my life? I did not, have any good time, or I did not have any comfort of day. I was always angry. So the state of anger is many things. Madness, we spoke about that. Face turns red, heart rate increases. Heart rate increases. That's why when it says when you become angry, as soon as you become angry, you have to change many things, because your heart rate, it's increasing. Your breathing is increasing. The ugly side takes over. Anger has the power to transfer the individual who is innocent. You see him and you say, oh, mashallah, he's very innocent, he's very bright, he's very decent, into a beast. He's very innocent, he's very decent, he's very bright, he's very nice person to deal with. But when he becomes angry, don't even come near him. Here, he becomes a beast. So what happens is, if you look at every one of them, madness, that's number one. The face becomes red. Number three, heart rate increases. The heart rate increases. And inshallah, we speak about how to overcome this. The heart rate increases. There's a story of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with one of the companions who came to Rasulullah, and he said to Rasulullah, advise me, give me an advice. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, la taghdab, la taghdab, la taghdab. Don't become angry. 3 times Rasulullah said to him, la taghdab. This person, he was a good companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said his farewell to Rasulullah. He left the mosque and he went back to his village, where he saw his tribe is preparing for a battle. They waving the swords and they want to fight. So when the 2 tribes, his tribe and the other nearby tribe, they got together to fight on a field, and everyone was, waving the sword and preparing themselves for a battle, he said, brothers, sisters, whoever is here, my tribe and the other tribe, I have one request, if you don't mind. He said, what? He said, you're all angry now. You're all in a state of madness, in rage. I ask one thing, if you don't mind doing it for me. And they said, what is that? He said, I want to have a chat between me and the 2 chiefs from the tribes, the 2 leaders of the tribe, from my tribe and the other tribe. We want to have a conversation, if that is okay. So they agreed upon that. They got into the tent, they sat down, and he saw the 2 leaders of the tribes. They are very angry. He said to them, calm down. We don't have to fight now. We can fight later if it's, really no other choice. So when they all calm, he gave them a minute or 2. And this is what happens. When you're angry, you do many things you will regret later. He gave them a minute or 2. They became calm. And then when they all calm, the 2 leaders, he said to them, what's the story? What's going on? Why are we fighting? Before we kill one another and spill a lot of blood, what's going on here? His leader said something, the other leader said something else, and they came into conclusion this was all a misunderstanding. But because they became angry, they were willing to kill one another. Here he said to them, this is truly what the Prophet said to me, La taghdab, la taghdab, la taghdab. You were angry and you were prepared to kill your brother. You were prepared to shed his blood. And when you were calm, thinking right, now you know this is not worth killing the other person. It's just a misunderstanding. And this is what happens during lifetime. This was one of the things that happened in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In our lifetime, there are many things happening in our daily lives that might be a misunderstanding. It's just a misunderstanding between two people. Even if it's, addressed at us, there is absolutely another way that we can deal with it. Like a mature person, not to go, become angry. If you see a child in the status of tantrum, you don't agree to it. You never say this is nice, mashallah, let him do that every single day. No, you don't like it. Banging on the table, screaming. This is sometimes us, even though we're not children anymore. We are in our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, our 50s. It's not about at the age, it's about our behavior that makes us better people or someone who becomes a beast. Now we spoke about all this. We know what anger is. We know the positive side of it and the negative side of it. Here we come to this. How do we overcome anger? How can I, calm myself down? We said that the heart rate increases. We said that. So what do Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam teach us? They teach us many things. They say when you are in a status of anger, if you are standing up, sit down. This is a hadith. If you're standing up, sit down. If you are sitting, lay down. If you are in a status of anger, go and perform wudu. Go and perform wudu. Why? Because we said you are angry. What did the Imam say? Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi afdalus salatu wassalam, he said anger is like burning fire. So what do you do with a burning fire? You spill on it what? Not more wood, but water for it to turn off. So what is the best thing for a person to do when they are in a status of anger is for them to perform wudu. They get up, they perform wudu. So if you look what we have here, this is some that we have on here, and inshallah I go back to the book. There are some there as well. So we process anger calmly. We process it calmly. I told you many times that anger can be a moment of madness that will get you into a lifetime of regret. The least you can do is say something that is not right. And this leads, unfortunately, for you to harm the other person physically, not just verbally, but also physically. And this is what's happening now in many of households or many communities. A person becomes angry, verbally first, and then if he sees this is not doing any good, physically. So process anger calmly. Think rational, not emotional. Because most of the time, we take it emotionally. He said that he has or she has done what? Abused me. And not just that, she brought me down, belittled me, and not just me, my family, my father, my mother, and we go into many things, and shaitan plays a big role here. Yes, that's what she did, that's what he did, be careful, look what they done, they're destroying you, and many things, the brain and the shaitan is playing along, and it's not truly there. It's rational. A person must think other than emotional. Rational, not emotional. List the things that make you angry. See if you can find a solution for them. And you can sit down. As I said, many of the situations can happen more than once. A person sits down and writes down what makes me angry. For example, if the house is not clean, that makes me angry. So what is the solution of that? Well, I can participate in cleaning as well. Well, that can be a solution. My in-law makes me angry. Okay, what do I do here? Do I stop going to their house? I don't see them anymore. No, I can, tell them nicely that this makes me angry. I've been their, part of the family for many years, and this is not pleasant. Maybe a word or two can change, a situation into better. Or a friend of mine says something, or he does something that makes me angry. We write that down, and we write next to it what can be a solution for this. a solution for this. And there we can work on it. If we have on a piece of paper, on the notes, on the iPhone or the Samsung Galaxy, whatever it is, you just write down what are the provocation that comes to me, what provokes me, makes me angry, and what can I do to do what? To take care of that and move that aside. Another one is take deep breath, inhale and exhale. Why? Because when a person is angry, he's if you touch them, they're very hot. The temperature rises, the heart rate, rises and increases, and the breathing becomes faster. So what is the good situation here for a person to do? The good remedy here is a person inhales and exhales. He takes deep breath, and then he comes to his senses. Some say count to 10. Those are some of the ones we have here. Now, if you look at the book, علاج الغضب. علاج الغضب, here we have the book of أخلاق والآداب الإسلامية that tell us about some of the ways we can overcome anger. Do you have the PDF file of the book? Yes. You have it now, inshallah. This is a book called أخلاق والآداب الإسلامية. Very good book, inshallah. You can download them. I asked the brothers to upload it on the Telegram page, inshallah. Today I asked them again. It's called أخلاق والآداب الإسلامية. And here you can see there are more in addition to what we have there. Number one, أن يستعيذ الغاضب بالله تعالى من الشيطان الرجيم. What does he say? أعوذ بالله تعالى من الشيطان الرجيم. Whenever he becomes angry, he says that. أعوذ بالله تعالى من الشيطان الرجيم. فأشد جنود إبليس الغضب. The best and the most lethal of Iblis, shaitan, soldiers, is غضب, anger. And Iblis, whenever he sees a person, a mu'mina, become angry, he claps. And another hadith says that he's riding the one who is angry, and he screams out that now I have a hold on you. I can make you lose your faith. فأشد جنود إبليس الغضب. والغضب مفتاح كل الشر. غضب, anger, is a key to all evil. وقد وجد في التوراة مكتوبا. And in the Torah, it's written, يا ابن آدم اذكرني حين تغضب أذكرك حين أغضب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Torah says that whenever you become angry, man is talking to human beings, mankind, whenever you become angry, يا ابن آدم, remember me, so I remember you when I become angry. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is number one. So what is number one? There are many things here. One is that you say, أعوذ بالله تعالى من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. And of course, we have the list from the PowerPoint of what you do here. Perform wudu. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is a hadith of Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullah alayhi to Malik al-Ashtar. When Malik was about his journey going to Egypt, Imam Ali, Amir al-Mu'mineen, the commander of the faithful, he said to Malik, "Oh Malik, whenever you become angry, go out and look at the sky." Why? So you can see that you're not the creator, but Allah is the creator. There is the creator of the universe who is greater than you and me and all of what he has created. So whenever you become angry, go out and look at the sky and know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of all things. Then you become calm. فَأَشَدُّ جُنُودِ إِبْلِيسَ الْغَضَبِ. أَشَدُّ جُنُودِ إِبْلِيسِ. Be careful, brothers and sisters. You see here that the soldier of Iblis has many soldiers, One of the soldiers of Iblis and one of the most lethal soldiers of Iblis is غضب, anger. والغضب مفتاح كل الشر. غضب, anger, is key to all evil. Number two, أن يغير الغاضب الحالة التي هو بها فيجلس إذا كان قائما وينام إن كان جالسا ويمشي إذا كان واقفا وإذا غضب فليسكت. Number two is very important. You become angry at home or maybe in the office or in the mosque or in the Husayniyah or in the center, whatever that place might be, change the atmosphere, the environment. And this is what it says. This is a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That what? If you are إذا كان قائما, if he is standing, فيجلس. وهو بها فيجلس إذا كان قائما. If he's standing, sit down. وينام إن كان جالسا. ينام إن كان جالسا. If he's sitting down, lay down. ويمشي إذا كان واقفا. If he's standing, walk. Just walk. وإذا غضب فليسكت. If he becomes angry, let him be quiet. Moments here, brothers and sisters, you might become angry. You say, you know what? I'm just going to go for a walk outside. I'm just going to go for a drive. Go for a drive. Go for a drive. Put the windows down. Calm down. Think rationally. Then come back home. Then come back to the center. Wherever that place might be, whoever provoked you, get out of that situation. Don't stand there because one thing leads to the other, like dominoes. One falls and the other fall right next to them. Number three, الذهاب للوضوء أو يستحم بالماء لأن الغضب حرارة في الإنسان. وضوء. He's angry. As we said, the temperature rises. He goes and he performs wudu. Better yet, what she does, is they perform wudu and they pray 2 rak'ah. And they give that hadiyah to al-Banin salamullah alayha, or to Lady Fatima al-Zahra. One of the ulama, Allama al-Majlisi, whenever he became angry in his lessons, he used to apologize to his students and fast the next day. Why? Because he's teaching himself that you don't become angry anymore. I'm in control of you, the nafs. You're not in control of me. So what he used to do when he becomes angry in the lesson with his students, he used to apologize to them straight away. Because, sometimes the teacher and the student, they give and take. And some of the students, they used to ask many, unfair questions. Or the questions they already were answered by the scholar. So he apologized to them, even though he was much older than them and he's, much wiser than them. And the Allama used to fast the next day. To teach himself he don't become angry anymore. Number four, أن يفكر الغاضب في فضائل كظم الغيظ والعفو والحلم ويقرأ آيات من القرآن الحكيم متعلقة بكظم الغيظ. قوله تعالى فاعف عنهم واصفح إن الله يحب المحسنين. Whenever he thinks or when he becomes angry, he remembers كظم الغيظ. And here we look at the life of Ahlul Bayt عليهم الصلاة والسلام. Imam al-Kadhim was known as كاظم الغيظ. Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi afdalu salati wassalam, as one story says, that one of his maids brought him water, and the container of the water that was made of clay fell down on Imam's head, and the Imam started to bleed. So this servant of the Imam, as soon as that happened, she recited this ayah. This ayah from Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 13, she said, فَعْفُ عَنْهُمْ. The Imam said to her, I forgive you for what you have done. وَاصْفَحْ عَنْهُمْ. وَاصْفَحْ, do good deed. And the Imam said to her, you are free to go. You're free. She was a servant in the house of the Imam. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And Imam said to her, you're free to go, and I will give you some money that you can start a new life. She heard the Imam. Imam was bleeding. Imam was bleeding, and the Imam had all the right to scream at her, and Imam had all the right to do whatever he wanted with it. And she was the Imam's servant, but he forgave her. He set her free, and he gave her a good amount of money for her to start her life. وقوله تعالى فمن عفا وأصلح فأجره على الله. Whoever, this is in Surah Al-Shura, verse 40. فمن عفا وأصلح فأجره على الله. You have all the right to become angry in one situation or another, but here you forgive them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَنْ عَفَى وَأَصْلَحَ. Whoever forgives, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward them. Allah will, Allah in the day of judgment, He doesn't judge you on many things because you did such and such in your daily life. You forgave a person or two because you had all the right to, be provoked and, become angry and do such and such. But here you did what? فَمَنْ عَفَى وَأَصْلَحَ فَأَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. Number 5. أن يتذكر الغاضب العذاب العظيم وسوء عاقبة الغضب في الدنيا والآخرة. Think of what this will bring to you. Becoming angry, what is that going to be? Is that going to be a life of, happiness, calmness, or a life of regret? And if you think of it, you might say one thing or one action can lead you to a life of regret. And here, a person has to think of what that will be entailing, and that is that سوء عاقبة الغضب في الدنيا والآخرة. في الدنيا والآخرة. That might lead for a person to kill another person. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi wasallam in your hadith, he says that what happens to an angry person when he abuses his brother in Islam or he physically harms them? What happens to them? The Imam is saying that woe unto him of what he's doing. That he is doing what? He is verbally and physically harming the other person. Number 6. يحاول الإنسان أن لا يغضب حتى لا يلجأ إلى ذل الاعتذار بعد فتور الغضب وأن يتفكر فيما يؤدي إليه الغضب من الندم والانتقام والهموم والغموم. So number 6 is more detailed of what will happen. So يحاول الإنسان أن لا يغضب. A person, he decides, I will not become angry. Why? حتى لا يلجأ إلى ذل الاعتذار. Because after you become angry, you're going to come and apologize. And a mu'min doesn't apologize every now and then. He doesn't come every day, I'm sorry, forgive me, I'm sorry. The next day, I'm sorry, forgive me. A mu'min is not that. A mu'min doesn't come and apologize every single day. So, ذل الاعتذار, because of what you have done, the actions of your anger led you to this. بعد فتور الغضب, after the ghadab, after breaking of the dishes and the breaking of the walls and screaming and verbally, physically abusing them, when you become to your senses, oh, I'm sorry, brother, I didn't mean that, any of that. Or after half an hour of rage, I didn't mean it. So here, you don't come to ذل الاعتذار بعد فتور الغضب وأن يتفكر فيما يؤدي إليه الغضب من الندم والانتقام والهموم والغموم. والهموم والغموم. Nadam, number 1, regret. Intiqam, of course, the other person is not going to just take that and go, you know what, I heard what you said and I'm all for it and I agreed to it and that's it. Don't worry about any of this. Of course, he also is thinking of how to take revenge. And that leads to a lifetime of, fighting and anger. And this is anger management here. What we have here is anger management. How to manage your anger. والانتقام والهموم والغموم. Number 7. يحاول الإنسان أن يزيل الأسباب المهيجة للغضب. And we spoke about that. You make a list of what makes you angry and try your best to find either a solution for that. Sometimes you find a solution. Other times you can say how to avoid this, how to avoid it. A place might be, not that important for you to go to every day. And you say, I'm just going to avoid that place. Or I'm just going to avoid talking with this person. Or just say that, Salaam alaikum, and that's it. I don't have to go into a full conversation with everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam, greetings, and taqabballah amalakum, as'adallah yamakum, adamallah ujurakum, and that's it. I don't need to go more into sitting down with him and go through my life story, and then that leads me to become angry with him and he becomes angry with me. So here what happens is, so يحاول الإنسان أن يزيل الأسباب المهيجة للغضب. Number 8 أن يترك الغاضب طريقا للعودة إلى الصلح والمودة. قال تعالى ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم. So don't burn the bridge. So leave something there. You don't burn the bridge. When you become angry, you don't say, oh, from the day I met you, I had a problem with you. No, you just had one conversation that didn't go the way you wanted it to go. So that leads for you to burn all your relationship with the other person. From the day I got engaged with you, I had, miserable life. From the day I got to know you, I had a problem with your family. Really? We just had a barbecue last week and it was great. What? And you were laughing and talking. That now you're telling me that from the day you met me, and don't burn the bridge. Always leave the bridge there. Or leave something back that you become angry at the situation itself. If you become angry and you can't help it, at the situation itself, not to bring all from the past. And this is one of the mistakes that many do. They bring everything from the past. You know what happened 20 years ago on the 2nd of September, 8 o'clock in the morning? It doesn't work out like that. You're burning all the bridge and you don't put anything for you to come back to. And that is the problem there. إلى الصلح والمودة طريقا إلى الصلح والمودة. Yeah, I said something, you said something, I became angry and I showed my my emotion to you. I expressed my anger, and now let's go back to the way it was. We are once again friends, we are once again husband and wife, or whatever it was. So we spoke about this. ولكن المحمود أن يغضب الإنسان في أحوال معينة. We already spoke about that in the PowerPoint of what the positive side of ghadab is and what are the negative sides. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps us into, inshallah, we don't become angry anymore. Of course, we're going to have a problem here and there, but inshallah, Allah gives us the strength to think rationally, not emotionally, and inshallah, we will not have any of the problems that we have now. And the emotions that we go through, the rage, the madness, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with His mercy, we inshallah work on them, and we have inshallah a more productive, more wiser, happier, and better life, and enjoy life. We see the positive side of life. I conclude with answering some of the questions. Some of the questions were asked about the questions last time we had was Tuesday, that were many of the brothers and sisters asked were mostly about the book Akhlaq al-Adab al-Islamiyya. And we spoke about another question that was asked by one of the brothers, that he said that, Sayyidina, how can you say the Ahlul Bayt, respected the kuffar? And inshallah, today I spoke about that. When a person is kafir, you look at the person because he's the enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your relationship with them is just based on you saying hi and that's it. By you sever that relationship doesn't exist anymore, because that person is the enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you do not respect them, but treat them the way they understand. Islam is all about morals and ethics and etiquette. And that's how Rasulullah treated the infidels. Rasulullah didn't come into, in Arabia at the time, Rasulullah did not see the Arabian people to be wise, rational, mu'mineen. They used to go every day, pray Salat al-Layl, read Dua Kumail. Of course not. Rasulullah had to deal with pre-Islamic era, time of Jahiliyyah. They buried their own daughters alive, and yet Rasulullah used to speak with them in a way they were so much influenced by Rasulullah that they come and they convert to Islam. Some of the questions today, let's go through the questions. Some of them are about the book again. Inshallah, we'll get them. The lessons, inshallah, they are on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I was told by many of the brothers, because of your timetable of your other lessons, we don't want to overwhelm you with many lessons that you don't have time for them. Inshallah, this will be more comfortable for each and every one of you. So it's going to be, inshallah, on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. On Telegram, inshallah, we'll put a timetable of the classes and the times, the topics and the teachers, inshallah. One of the brothers is asking how to overcome the shaitan's waswasa. A'udhu billah min ash-shaytan ar-rajim. That's one thing. Another, brothers and sisters, it's not, that we sleep at night and we wake up in the morning saints, mu'mineen, mu'minah. It takes time of practice, it takes time of, self indulgence. A person must work on his anger, must work on his, ibadat, that we work on our salat, wajibat, and then we start with the mustahabbat. When a person goes through a lifetime of becoming a better person, working in the footsteps of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam, then he's not going to have that many issues. This is when it's going to become better, because what we're doing here is we're learning from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam. We have great leaders. That's how you overcome shaitan's waswasa, if you follow their footsteps. Another question says, it's about the timing. The timing, some of the brothers saying their class is going to be about 3 in the morning. I don't know of which time we can put, because everyone is from different, we have different countries, different cities. 7:30 in the morning, this is in Sydney. One of the brothers says in India it's about 3 in the morning. Of course, we don't want to do 3 in the morning, wake you up in the 3 in the morning for a class. Inshallah, I look into it, see which time, if we have a place to move around, see which time is more allocated, you're more happy with it. Inshallah, we speak about that, and if need be, we change it. It's mostly about the book. Yeah, it's about some of the questions that are about man becoming more angry than woman. Well, we tend to become angry, but I don't think more. It provokes us many things. We work outside and we come home and we have to deal with home as well. And here we have to follow the footsteps of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, the guidelines, how they teach us to behave in one situation and another. So this happens, of course. This is not impossible, and it happens. So no, not all the time. Women can become angry as well. Men become angry, women become angry. Shaitan doesn't see the different genders or different ages or anything of that. What he sees that provokes me and you, he tries to repeat it many times. And here, as we said, of overcoming anger of the many ways, a person has to take that into consideration. Of, if I become angry every single day, can I do of many of the techniques that I have there? Perform wudu, change the environment, count to 10, get out, go walk, go for a drive. These many things can work out, can change a person's lifestyle from becoming angry all the time to become what is calm and wise and bright and most of all, a human being that you can speak with. We spoke about the positive side of anger. We spoke about that anger can have a positive side. I will take a screenshot of the. There's a lot of questions, and inshallah, I look at them. And if you don't mind, in the next class on Saturday, in the beginning of the class, a quick recap, because next class is going to be on a different topic. We finish with anger. I will post the PowerPoint on Telegram, and I will go through the questions. There are more than 50 questions here. I will go through them, and inshallah, we will answer many of them in our next lesson, in the beginning of the lesson, if that's okay with you. I will go on some of them. Does the name of Allah necessarily mean non-belief? The name of Allah, Imam al-Jawad alayhi afdalu salatu wassalam said, لا تكن صديقا له في العلانية وعدوا له في السر. Don't be friend of Allah in public and his enemy in private. So enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a non-believer. So if you're enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't agree with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done. You don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can you be a believer and you're an enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. No, the book is not in English, unfortunately, and inshallah it will be translated into English. The one that you have here, it's written by Abdullah al-Hashimi. The one I have, the older version, was made by Hayat Muhammad al-Amin. It's similar, very similar. I think exactly the same, but I think it's a group of youth in Kuwait. They got together and they co-authored this book. It's called Akhlaq al-Adab al-Islamiyya by Abdullah al-Hashimi, Hayat Muhammad al-Amin. Okay, we have some of the brothers and sisters saying that class time is perfect, or be overwhelming clashes with other classes. What we want to do, brothers and sisters, it's not just me, other teachers as well, and the organizers of this Hawza classes, is that we don't want to give you too much, that you run to the hells and you say, it's better for me to sit down and watch some Netflix instead of sitting here. We want to make it very pleasant. We want to, give you as much as we can, and we want to keep it, inshallah, in a convenient time. So we keep it at this time, inshallah, for now. I have a chat with the organizers and see what they have in mind. When I told them 7:30 in the morning, they were surprised as well, because I wake up very early in the morning. I have 3 children, but I wake up very early in the morning. I come to the office, escape them, and it's quiet now in the office before anyone comes. So I can have a quiet time. I was thinking that I can have a chat with you, brothers and sisters, and have some classes. So inshallah, I have a word with them, and and inshallah we discuss that in next class as well. I take some of the questions, some screenshots of them, and I don't want to take more of your time. Inshallah, next class will be on Saturday. I have taken a screenshot from the questions that I didn't answer, and I ask every one of you to don't forget me in your du'as. We went through more than 1 hour. I do apologize for the inconvenience, and I ask, inshallah, every one of you to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the high senior appearance of Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. We conclude with the dua al-Faraj. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma kulla waliyaka al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan. صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب الحسين بحق الحسين اشفي صدر الحسين بظهور الحجة. Be safe, brothers and sisters. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.